to every name of system or technology or whatever that we say, since you know the edgewise, you know the pin and the tube, you know the lingual, not the lingual, the twin arch. You met with the edgewise, with the founders of the edgewise actually. Then came the straight wire.
Which we laughed at because we'd been doing that on our own without calling it anything.
Right.
We knew that
you did it with the wires.
We did it with the bracket positioning.
With the bracket positioning first, and then with the wires.
Yeah.
No, with the bracket position couldn't help because you need the in and out. You couldn't do it with the bracket positioning. And then you had the straight wire, and then the new advanced technologies of Invisalign, lingual, self-ligating, whatever. I want you to maybe to give your opinion, in kind of a historical way of a development.
Good. I can tell you.
And what do you think about it? And I think this is very important point for the future.
Okay.
Of course, everything that you say. For us, it's a background. It's an amazing background because you say the names that we were learned.
Okay, but I have to, in a sense, define myself by telling you that myself and all my classmates went from pinched stainless steel bands from not good stainless steel. We went from pinched gold bands to preformed stainless steel. Never having done it in the clinic. But we knew what a good band had to be like. And the fact
we also did it in the army.
Straight from preformed gold, from pinched gold to preformed steel. And yes, we were not afraid to change.
You were not afraid to.
That was to illustrate to you that we were ready for a change.
How many patients did you see when you finished, when you first opened the
How about how many I saw as a student?
How many did you see as a student?
6.
One a day?
Six
a day?
No, six altogether.
6 altogether?
6 patients.
But a day, how many did you see
One.
a day? One a day?
Yeah.
Or maybe 2 a day? In the morning and in the afternoon?
Yeah.
But this was...
No, as a student.
Not as, but and when you first opened your office.
Well, in the first open my office, I was sitting waiting for patients to come. So it was not a problem. My wife used to say if I knew the curtain was down, she said, I knew you were sleeping.
No, really, no, I'm kidding.
My patient load...
Asbel, how many patients did he see?
Oh, he saw a lot because...
How many? 20?
Yeah,
a day?
Sure, yeah. Because of the labial-lingual technique. His first, when he came to his office,
you have to pinch the bands. You have to solder some things. It took time.
Pinching. I told you, when I left school. That was the end of pinching. We had preform, went right to preform.
But you had to add the brackets on this.
No, they came with brackets.
It's 1967.
I opened my office in 1960.
1960.
They came with brackets.
They didn't
come with twins. They came with
tubes.
Yeah, tubes. Had double tube for the upper, for the molar. Sure.
Rocky Mountain.
Yeah, Rocky Mountain. Wow. And Rocky Mountain spot welder was the welder.
I said, you didn't have to weld the tubes?
Not unless you wanted to change something. But you could do with a standard.
And even brackets came with
not twin, they came single, and we put on eyelets.
Only the eyelets?
They didn't until the twin brackets came in. We had eyelets for rotation.
So they already came with the
bracket came in, the twin bracket. When did it come
in the 70s.
The twin bracket.
Yes, Barney Swain. Yeah.
So you already had the and when did you have auxiliaries working helping you, changing wires and things like this, or you did everything alone?
There were, as there are now, offices where the girls did a lot of the work.
Even in the 60s?
Even in the 60s. It was dangerous, because if you got caught,
it was illegal.
You lose your license for a year, or whatever. Yeah, it was illegal for the girls to do anything. But...
when the composite came, so you changed to...
Yeah,
brackets.
That was the big...
Bonding.
In terms of historical changes, you have to start with the watershed, which was the edgewise appliance. The edgewise appliance, first time you could move roots. That's the big, historically speaking, the big change.
But this was in the 30s. In the
1925. The edgewise appliance came in 1925. It took many years till it became popular. It took like 20 years before it became popular. One of the reasons was because the original edgewise technique, people find this hard to believe, was to take an 022, 028 gold wire and bend it to fit the malocclusion.
At the beginning.
And then to open it. Would you imagine what it would take to
bend,
passively fit?
That's what I'm saying. How many patients could you see there?
Yeah, in those. No, that's why it was not a popular technique.
And in the school, the same technique you used?
No. In school we had light wires. Light wire. 018 was the light wire.
018.
No, we had an 016. We had
braided.
No, we had a there was a braided wire.
Braided wire.
In the school, you want to tell me that you didn't have to solder the brackets to the bends?
Of course we did. It was gold.
Gold. You did
pinched gold.
Pinched gold.
Yeah, to solder everything.
And the minute you went out, they already had the stainless steel brackets on the bend.
Yeah. Yep.
And everything was fully bended. You had to separate most of the teeth.
Yes.
And then at the end, to close them slowly, to debend them slowly.
It was not a problem. They closed rather quickly. But to tell you the cute story of the War of the Jews, as it affected orthodontics, one of my instructors was a young Jewish guy who Brody took on as faculty, and he ended up teaching there for over 50 years. And one of our students in the class ahead of me was from New York, and he was Jewish. So there was always this cultural conflict between Jews from the Midwest and Jews from the East Coast. Really, Chicago has this complex, inferiority complex to New York. It's gone through all the years. It still exists. So here's a Jew from New York who happened to be a wise guy, now practicing and probably retired in Florida. And he's a young student, and we had to have every pinched band checked off before we cemented it. Mm-hmm. Now, once you cemented everything, that was it. And if something went wrong, you paid for the next band. You got 14 bands, strip material.
You had to pay for them.
You paid for the 15th one for each arch. Well, Bernie from New York figured, I know I'm good enough. So he cemented full mouth. And the Jewish instructor from the Midwest said, rip them out.
Wow.
Well, you don't take out a gold band without ruining it. I mean, because they were, they fit. So poor Bernie had to lay out of his pocket for a new set of bands. So that was the War of the Jews. The interesting thing is that, believe it or not, our student, who is now Abu Mazen's personal dentist, Imad gets around the world. He said to me about a year ago, I have regards to you and the name he gives me is this kid was with the War of the Jews. The name will come to me in a moment. He has a textbook on cleft palate. And Imad has a chapter in that textbook. Now, Imad was not the world's, what can I say? So he gets around, but Sam Berkowitz was the
Sam Berkowitz is from Chicago,
No, he's from Florida. He's in Miami.
Miami?
Yeah.
But I think
he was studying in Chicago. He was a year ahead of me.
Maybe
he's one of the mentor of the cleft palate.
Yes, yeah. He stayed 5 years. Why? Because Brezniak was his mentor.
Yeah.
So that
that
was the War of the Jews.
But you didn't answer my question. I mean, you still are in the edgewise. But what about the new technique, Invisalign? What do you think about?
Well, the edgewise matured in terms of Siamese brackets. That was the first big step. So you didn't have to bother putting on eyelets. Although from an educational point of view, it was a step down, because when we had to put on eyelets, as students, we had to tell the instructor whether we wanted them mesial or we wanted them distal. In terms of where that tooth was going to be moved during treatment, you had to think. Not just put them on one on the mesial, because the preforms came one on the mesial, one on the distal. Didn't have to think. Same with Siamese. There they are. You don't have to think. So that was a big advancement. And in terms of advancement, the bonding, of course, was the great advancement. And as far as new techniques are concerned, the straight wire was for us nothing special, because we've been doing it on our own It's part of the thinking process of thinking ahead. And coming from Illinois, the tweed course was very popular. For us, coming from Illinois, if we got caught taking the tweed course, it was a no-no. I mean, if you did it secretly.
Okay. As now here, the functional plans.
So
secretly.
We're in Tel Aviv.
Yes.
In Tel Aviv. So I'm going back to
Invisalign.
not Invisalign and stuff like this, you know.
Well,
Did you ever try a patient with Invisalign?
no,
No, not yourself.
not myself. To the best of my knowledge, no, I don't think so. No. And in the beginning, it had shortcomings. And so my criticism of why I didn't get interested in it was it had too many shortcomings. And I figure if I can't convince a patient that I can do a better job wearing appliances, let them come somewhere else. Now today, it's very different. And the other tremendous advancement in terms of mechanics is the lingual appliance, a good lingual appliance, because it also had compromises. And now that I see things like incognito and how they work, and they're beautiful, except they're bad on the back. I feel badly for the orthodontist, and some of my friends take on younger people to do the lingual appliances. They're just too difficult on your physically on your work.
And the self-ligating, do you have any?
Self-ligating, we tried for a while, but I didn't find any advantage to it. No, not at all. My big argument now with the profession is retention. I'm losing the battle.
What do you mean you're losing the battle?
I think it's a patient doesn't deserve, after a year and a half of treatment, to wear a retainer a lifetime, or for 10 years, or for 5 years.
What do you think they should do?
They should be educated, and we have not. DCA, Dental Corporation of America, for a short period of time, put out a card. Bud Schulman, they would sell cards to the profession for when you finished treatment. You give this card to the patient. Congratulations, you've completed treatment. Now is the time you've learned how to keep your teeth clean. Now is the time to go to your dentist, get a checkup, wear your retainer. You can expect your lower front teeth to become crowded. They're in writing. You can expect your lower front teeth with time to become crowded. Well, the profession painted itself into a corner. Said, no, if you do everything right, the lower front teeth will stay straight. Well, that's not true. And the profession refused to admit it. It was.
What do you mean the profession refused? It's the thing that there is no right position for the lower incisor. There is no right position. They will become crooked, whatever you will do.
Okay, but the profession didn't want to admit to that. You couldn't take an American board exam and show teeth with a lower incisor post-retention.
Crooked. A little bit. Yeah. So what?
They didn't accept it.
Right.
So what do you say? It's very important. What you say now?
I
that
thought it's from
retention.
the patients.
Retention.
No. Never came from patients.
So what do you think that we should do about retention? Explain the people.
To educate the public that just as their eyes change with time, they get a pair of glasses. Does the plastic surgeon promise that anything? But no other profession promises what the orthodontist promises.
No other profession. No. I don't think it's the profession that we did this.
I
think it is the public.
Professor Lieberman said.
No. The public never complained.
He said
Never. My patients used to.
So you're not in. So you excuse me because I am a consultant. I'm consultant.
But nowadays it's the public.
It's different today.
You don't know what's going on today.
I understand today.
Nowadays it's the public.
I had patients who were bringing me their children. Okay, they were before I left the States. I was in practice long enough to be treating children, and the parent would say, "Look, you see, I didn't wear my retainer long enough." They never blamed the orthodontist. They blamed themselves for not wearing the retainer. Okay, but they understood that the teeth.
So what do you think we should do? Let's open a school today, and what would you say to your